Elal 1862 heads east over Amsterdam suburbs.
We're now passing 4300.
6:27 p.m. and 30 seconds. The engines are still at full thrust as the jumbo climbs to 6,500 feet. Everything is running like clockwork. The crew settles in for the flight to Tel Aviv. In less than 5 hours, they'll be back on home soil with their families. Suddenly, a terrifying jolt rocks the plane. It starts to lose altitude and rolls violently to the right. Veteran pilot Captain Fuchs grabs the controls. He battles to stabilize the jumbo. If he fails, the aircraft will spiral out of control.
Elal 1862, Mayday, Mayday, we have an emergency.
After 30 seconds, Captain Fuchs manages to wrestle the jumbo back to steady flight. Flight engineer Sophia desperately scans his control panels to try to find out what's wrong. Seconds later, another crisis. The instruments reveal that both engines on the right wing are out of action. It's a pilot's nightmare. Captain Fuchs must get back to Schiphol for an emergency landing. Fast. He tells co-pilot Ohad he needs the airport's longest runway.
We request 27 for landing.
Air traffic control clears the jumbo for the journey back to Schiphol.
In that case, heading 360. 360 the heading.
Roger.
The return route to runway 27 will take the jumbo over the Belmer suburb where the Treidemann family lives. They and thousands of others in the crippled jet's flight path are complete.
And number 4 engine inoperable.
They sheared off completely. So when it shears off, it doesn't fall harmlessly away. It shoots forward. A split second later, it falls back. And by sheer chance, strikes the outer engine, smashing it off the wing. The impact also rips away a 10-meter stretch of the wing's leading edge. Investigators now know that a freak accident caused 2 engines to fall off Flight 1862.
Mayday.
Are desperate for the answer to another major mystery. Why the plane crashed? A 747 should be perfectly capable of flying on 2 engines. So what made Flight 1862 suddenly nosedive just minutes from an emergency landing at Schiphol Airport?
Raise the flag! Get the gear down!
Investigators study the section of wing recovered from Goymir Lake. It's clear this damage would have reduced the plane's lift. They also realized that key flight controls lost hydraulic power when the engines broke away. But if this damage was severe enough to down the plane, how did Captain Fuchs keep it flying steadily for another 8 minutes? It's a paradox. Then, 18 days after the crash, the team gets some good news. Experts in the USA have kilometers from the Belmer apartment complex. Now Captain Fuchs lifts the jumbo's nose to slow the plane down for landing. Unaware that this routine procedure will have fatal consequences. The flight data reveals that this change in angle worsens the disruption in airflow over the mangled right wing. The result is a further loss of lift on this side of the plane, and it starts to roll again. Captain Fuchs struggles to pull it level. But his airspeed has now dropped below 260 knots, reducing lift even more. This time, his damaged controls cannot save him.
Controlling problem.
30 seconds to disaster. As the roll and loss of lift reach a critical point, the 338-ton jumbo plummets earthward.
1862 going down.
Elal 1862 nosedives from 2,500 feet. Microscopic faults in two 14-centimeter long components lead to the death of 43 people. Rescue workers found the bodies